British Foreign Secretary Lord Cameron will engage in discussions with NATO allies during an upcoming summit to address the escalating tensions between Israel and Gaza following the tragic deaths of aid workers, including British citizens, in the conflict zone. The discussions, set to take place on the sidelines of the Brussels summit commencing Wednesday, aim to bolster efforts to pressure Israel into agreeing to an immediate ceasefire to facilitate humanitarian aid delivery and the safe evacuation of hostages from Gaza. This initiative comes in response to the recent airstrikes targeting an aid convoy operated by the charity World Central Kitchen, WCK, resulting in the deaths of 7 aid workers, including nationals from the UK, Australia, Poland, and the US-Canada dual citizenship. Following a call with Israeli counterpart Israel Katz, Cameron demanded explanations for the incident and called for significant changes to ensure the safety of aid workers on the ground, including assurances to prevent similar strikes in the future. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu attributed the deaths to an unintended strike by Israeli forces, but British officials have highlighted previous instances of aid workers being killed in Israeli airstrikes during the conflict, urging a prompt and thorough investigation. In a show of condemnation, Development Minister Andrew Mitchell summoned Israel's ambassador to convey the UK's unequivocal condemnation of the killings and called for a transparent investigation shared with the international community, emphasizing the need for accountability. Mitchell also reiterated calls for Israel to implement an effective mechanism for deconfliction to mitigate the risk of accidents in the conflict zone, particularly as the charity claims the aid workers were in a demilitarized zone with clearly marked vehicles. During his conversation with Katz, Cameron reaffirmed the UK's support for the humanitarian efforts of WCK, whose aid convoy was targeted as they departed the Deir al-Balah warehouse, where over 100 tons of food aid had been unloaded for Gaza. Meanwhile, Cyprus, a key player in facilitating the maritime route for aid delivery championed by Cameron, reported that ships carrying 240 tons of aid from WCK reversed course following the attack. As concerns persist regarding the limited humanitarian access granted by Israel to Gaza, U.S.-based aid group UNRWA announced a halt to its operations in the region, where it had been providing essential meals to around 150,000 individuals daily. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak praised the dedication of the aid workers and emphasized the necessity for Israel to ensure their unimpeded humanitarian work continues. Labour leader Sir Keir Starmer condemned the deaths as outrageous and called for an immediate ceasefire, release of hostages, and full humanitarian access to Gaza, urging adherence to international law. Alicia Kearns, chairwoman of the Commons Foreign Affairs Committee, echoed the demand for a thorough and swift investigation into the incident, stressing the imperative for humanitarian agencies to receive assurances of protection for their personnel.